So welcome to your first video lesson about the 5 koshas that exist within each and every one of us. We're going to spend some time today, as well as in the days to come, really continuing our focus on this physical sheath, the Annamaya Kosha. And because of that, we're going to take all the knowledge that we've learned over the first 42 days of our challenge, and we're really going to begin to deepen it. Because what we all want, we want to move beyond just a physical understanding of who we are. There's so many intricate things happening inside of us, these subtle energies we want to tap into. We want to have balance in all parts of us. But if we don't take care of the physical parts of our body, then all of those other parts it's going to be blocked. Our access to all the things that lead us to peace, that allow us to experience bliss in our lives, if we're not taking care of ourselves physically, we'll never get to those points. So the Annamaya Kosha is our focus for this week and for the days leading into next week. I shared with you last week just a few extra things, thinking about your evening dinachara, your way that you're engaging in perhaps some kind of fasting in your life. And so all those pieces are beginning to come together and will help us to truly understand and tap into the power of this Annamaya Kosha. And so I want us to share just a few things with you as we go forward. Because I want us to think about this idea of self-care. This sheath is completely about self-care. We want to get to bliss. We want to get to the emotional stability inside of us. We want to get to the peace, the wisdom, the discernment. But if we don't take care of this physical sheath, what ends up happening, just like whenever we eat really bad, we have this layer of fat that builds up. And we know that when our digestive juices are not working, we have ama in our physical body, and that is just like all the toxins and the reserves that we can't tap into. It's just sitting there just waiting, and eventually it accumulates and it causes us to gain weight in our bodies to have layers of fat in it. Same thing happens when we do things in our physical being that affect our inner being. When we don't take care of ourselves, we gain almost like another layer of fat. It's not physical fat, but it's a block. It creates a hardening of that sheath. So instead of it being something that is accessible and has it's permeable from layer to layer, instead we create things that actually end up blocking it. So the things I want us to focus on going forward, really tapping into what we already did in the first 42 days and really continuing to gain knowledge about moving forward, is what and when we eat. So you have the knowledge about how to eat for your dosha. And it's not something that you just do for 6 weeks. It actually becomes a lifestyle. And you know that when you eat things that you're making a choice about, you know what? You sacrifice and you realize, maybe I'm not going to feel good if I eat this time. And eventually you get to the point that you're doing so much to work so hard, you don't want to sacrifice those things anymore. You want the good habits. You want the good things going into you, because the number one thing you want is you want to extract the maximum amount of nutrients from every single thing you put into your body. And there are some things we eat, some things that we drink, some things that we intake that just have no nutritional value. And so you've got to start making hard decisions. If you want to see changes in your physical self, and if you want to be able to tap into all the stuff inside, you've got to begin to truly commit to making changes. You have to eat for your dosha. Next week, I'm going to really start hitting hard this idea of eating seasonally, because how we eat in the summer is very different than how we eat in the winter and how we eat going into the spring. And so now that we understand our dosha, we understand what we should be eating and what we should be avoiding, we're going to start talking about, now that we're heading into the end of July, how does that affect us in these very, very hot days that are coming into our future? So that's coming next, but you've got to really commit to eating for your dosha. At the same time, I shared with you last week the information about fasting. You've got to commit some kind of a schedule for your body. If you want to go to the bathroom on a regular basis, then you need to be eating on a regular schedule. You need to have the same amount of hours every day that you eat and the same amount of hours that you don't eat. And so just the Ayurvedic lifestyle as a whole asks us to look at perhaps this 12 and 12 model. We eat from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and then we don't eat anymore after 7 p.m. until we get up the next morning and we have our breakfast at 7 a.m. I'm not saying those are the magical times. I'm just saying that the predictability of that schedule is what's going to help your body to reset. Maybe you consider doing something, especially if kapha is your dosha. Maybe you consider doing the 16-hour fasting, where you eat for 8 and you fast for 16. You will start to see a change, but you got to eat the right things within those 8 hours. So you've got lots of options. Now is the time to make a commitment. We're far enough into this that it's time to really make the commitment. The other big pieces of this are, how well are you resting? And are you engaging in meditation beyond just our Sunday night time together? Coming into this new week, I'm going to be taking you through some 5-minute meditations. They're going to post on Facebook. You'll have those available to you, because I need meditation to become a more regular part of your life. not just something we do on Sundays. We've done that now for 6 weeks together. It's time to take it to the next level. The other piece about your rest is that you need to make sure you're relying on your breath. The same way we breathe in yoga classes, you need to be breathing balanced. You need to be breathing in a balanced way in your everyday life. When you feel the stress coming, you go to that alternate nostril breathing. You try to figure out how to just clear your mind, take all the stress out, and find rest. And I don't just mean the rest that happens in the bed. Just find rest in your body. You've got the physical activity. I'm so proud of you guys. That's the other part of self-care. But you are committed to your Tuesday, Thursday classes. You are committed to adding the extra classes. I love watching the progress and just seeing the way that you stand and you hold yourself and the way that you're able to get deeper into poses. It's amazing to see. So the physical part of self-care, you've got that. And the last part that I want to really throw at you is the situational part of your self-care. The situations that you have in your life. Some of you are in incredible relationships. You have people in your life that are loving and that are positive and that are appropriate and that really feed into who you are as a human. But then some of us still have some toxicity in our life that we need to work on getting rid of. Who we surround ourselves with is one of the biggest parts of self-care. And it almost takes what you're doing in your physical yoga classes. When you're working out with me Tuesday and Thursday mornings and you're really hitting it and you're doing something, but yet then you go home or to a workplace or into a friendship that is toxic, you're adding back that layer of fat to the emotional part of who you are. So it's not just changing the intake of our food, it's changing the intake of our situations. And if you've got things in your life that you need to begin saying no to and you need to begin to make boundaries for, then now is the time. We've invested these first 42 days. Last week we eased into some things thinking about this idea of fasting, but now it's time to really begin to take some deep, hard looks internally and decide self-care. You know what? I'm going to do it. Forget the fact that you've invested money and time. Guys, invest in your future. The self-care that you have, what you eat when you eat, how well you're resting, how regimented, it's a tough word, but how regimented, how scheduled your daily life is. And I don't mean what's in your day planner. I mean that this is when I eat. This is when I rest. This is what I do throughout my day. This is when I move my body. That daily, predictable schedule. It will reset what you do. Then you've got the physical activity, and then you've got the situational stuff in your life. Start looking at those things long and hard. Make some new commitments. And then moving forward, we're going to have this Annamaya Kosha right where it needs to be, and we're going to begin to tap into the very subtle but yet very powerful energies of the other four that are below it. Thank you for letting me walk this journey with you. I believe in each and every one of you. We've just got to really buckle down and get our commitments in place.